Welcome to another edition of the Willie Bragg Show. I am so sorry about that. How are y'all doing today? Um, I'm Willie Bragg. I'm back here again. I did a late stream last night. I have an irregular schedule this week. I'm on vacation. Um, as soon as this live stream is over, I'm going to a concert tonight. Um, uh, so if I'm rushing for time, it's because I'm trying to beat the traffic in Raleigh. So there was that. The Raleigh traffic is terrible. I'm telling you it is. So let me go ahead and do this quick shout outs to Bella Lagrisi. How are you doing this morning, my friend? This afternoon? I saw you this morning on Warren's extra bull morning extra. So um for some reason, Max RJ says YouTube is shutting down my ability to share this link. I don't know why that's happening. I will have to try to see what's going on about that. Um, Cisco says here, listening in the background, and I hope you're doing well. So let's see. Apparently, YouTube chat can remove HTTP links. All right. I didn't know that actually. So it's a pretty good article on KMUD News Radio. I shared with Warren and took it, but it won't take anywhere else. Just probably something in this. I don't know. That's crazy. Boo says this desert mantis. That was actually the nickname of one of my roommates at East Carolina. Boo. Boo. See here. Okay. Everybody saying hello to each other and all of that, exchanging their pleasantries. I see Peace Dub here. And let's see here. I'm looking through. And I see Lucy is here as well. Hey, Lucy, how are you doing today? And let's get underway with the show here about Donald Trump, because there's a large misnomer, and I've been guilty of this. I've been guilty of this myself to some degree, and I need to basically, when I make statements about Trump and his foreign policy, I need to make a clearer need to make that clarification more sharp. So I don't know if that's correct grammar, but to so people would not get the misunderstanding what I'm trying to say. And there are times that I've said that that he accidentally had a less aggressive foreign policy while he was president. And it was not because he was a peacenik or anything of that nature. And I made that clear much of the time. In fact, I've always said that COVID was largely the reason why there was less aggression by the United States during the Trump years. And it probably would have happened during the Hillary Clinton years or whoever's occupying the White House at the moment. And that's basically, I needed to make that clear. I think had it been normal times and we did not have COVID, I think that we would have seen more fucked up shit around the world. So I wanted to make that abundantly clear. I really needed to make that clear here. So on Twitter, I think most of y'all know who she is, but Jackie, let's see which one here. Let's see. I guess we'll do this one. Yes. She put up a tweet, and if you know, I would suggest you follow her. She's always got something great to say. I don't know why she doesn't live stream. I have no idea, because she has such brilliant takes on a lot of things. She's one of my favorite people on Twitter, but she's basically talking about a tweet sent by real Donald Trump. Quote unquote, we will find you and we will thrill you. I have to censor myself. The anti-war peace candidate. And she's referring to this tweet by Donald Trump. This morning, I've ordered a precision military airstrikes and on the senior ISIS attack planner and other terrorists he recruited and led in Somalia. These killers who we found hiding in caves threatened the United States and our allies. The strikes destroyed the caves. The strikes destroyed the caves they live in and killed many terrorists without in any way harming civilians. Our military has targeted this ISIS attack planner for years, but Biden and his cronies wouldn't act quickly enough to get the job done. I did. The message to ISIS and all others who would attack Americans is that we will find you and we will unalive you. What do I have to say about that? That's classic Trump, beating his chest and trying to do the whole alpha thing. And it's all about projection with a lot of the MAGA base, because there is a significant anti-war faction of MAGA. I don't care for the whole MAGA brand overall. I don't. But there is a faction of MAGA that's anti-war. There is largely a faction of MAGA who are just as fine with Donald Trump in the White House as they were with George W. Bush and Dick Cheney in the White House. I'll bet you every dollar in my wallet that the people who bitch and moan about the 2020 election being stolen from Trump were the same people in 2000 that thought that George W. Bush won fair and square down in Florida. So this is the mentality. Just because they're all MAGA doesn't mean, today's MAGA were yesterday's Bush Cheney neocon shits. And they haven't changed. And this whole notion that all the neoconservatives have gone into the Democratic Party and this is a brand new Republican Party and they're anti-interventionists is bullshit. It is bullshit. It's a lie. Yeah, it's true. There are people who went, older neocons who went back to the Democratic Party. Some of the younger ones who don't like the icky, if religious fanatics, the Christian nationalists, the evangelicals, the Christian right, whatever you want to call them. And a lot of those motherfuckers are neocons. They decided to go into the Democratic Party. But you have people, this notion that neocons are these mild-mannered, centrist-y Republicans that couldn't take this hyperbolic right-wing bully that Trump is. And he's so odious and so off the cuff and such a savage that I have no choice but to be a Democrat. A lot of neocons are like Trump and worse. It's the dirty little secret. A lot of them lust for a war with Iran. A lot of them, it was like when Benjamin Netanyahu spoke last year and about a decade ago, it was like fucking Beatlemania to these motherfuckers. At the same time, Pope Francis would come and speak. He's a filthy, degenerate socialist in their eyes. So this is what we're dealing with here. This is what we're dealing with. And and I just want to say this, this whole misnomer. That Trump is a peacenik is really ridiculous. There are some people on the online left, and I don't think that they're pro-Trump, but they give too much of a free pass to Trump at times. Because the Democratic Party is such a garbage party with the way they have treated the left. that they sort of have this attitude of, being soft on somebody who gives the optics of populism. And when I'll listen to Jimmy Dore, and overall, Jimmy Dore, I agree with Jimmy Dore most of the time, but sometimes Jimmy Dore will say things that are a little bit too GOP friendly. And I don't blame him for shitting on the Democrats, but there's nothing great about the GOP either. I just, you will want to pull people out of the Democratic Party and out of the GOP and say, hey, this is better than what the liberals and what the standard right wing people have to offer you. That's what you need to do. It's cussing MAGA communism seem to have done the same thing. It's a little disconcerting, but that's kind of beside the point, what have you. There are pockets of areas where they may be correct in their analysis, but it's just not. You don't want to go out of your way to give a soft pass to the Republicans or the overwhelming majority of the time, because it'll confuse people. It will. So there is that. What was it? Oh, but here's an example of Trump being just an arrogant bully asshole right here.
I will settle the war in Ukraine, and I will end the chaos in the Middle East, and I will prevent something that nobody else will be able to do. I will prevent World War III, and you are very close to World War III. Biden and Kamala got us into this war in Ukraine, and now they can't get us out. They can't get us out. I watched him. We will win. We will. He's been saying that for 3 years. Every time Zelensky comes to the United States, he walks away with $100 billion. I think he's the greatest salesman on earth. But we're stuck in that war unless I'm president. I'll get it done. I'll get it negotiated. I'll get out. We got to get out. I will say.
Now, realistically, I think that when it comes to foreign policy, while he's here, while he's the president on foreign policy, I have next to no hope on Israel, Gaza. It was Trump that caused this bullshit with the situation in Gaza while he was president with the Abraham Accords. Fuck the Abraham Accords, because what the Abraham Accords did just made life miserable for the Palestinians. Off of some, yeah, sure, you want countries to be at peace with each other, but you're doing this while throwing a group of people under the bus, i.e., Palestinians in Gaza. Then and the West Bank, if you're sitting there just throwing the Palestinians under the bus and saying fuck the Palestinians, you'll see what you just saw since October 7th, 2023. And so I just, as I said, there's an example of a foreign policy failure right there on Donald Trump's part. If you are so fucking concerned about Iran and Iraq being very friendly and close with each other again, maybe, in a way, I don't mean, and frankly, countries being friendly with each other doesn't bother me. I have to rephrase that. But in the sense that they're worried that it could turn against the West. Well, Trump, if you didn't tear up that peace treaty with Iran, which was working, Iran would have acclimated toward the West in its positive trappings, and we could have seen a positive peace between Iran and the United States. But because Donald Trump wanted to appease the secular John Boltons and appease the religious nutcases like John Hagee, who are both shit neocons, This is why we're in the situation we're seeing right now. There was a lot of bombing, when the bombings in Syria, the drone strike against General Qasem Soleimani, things of that nature. The attempted coup in Saudi Arabia. I'm sorry, in Saudi Arabia. What am I talking about? In Venezuela, selling of arms to Saudi Arabia, with whereby the United States is actually indirectly, assisting a genocide, just as they are with Israel today in Gaza, with regard to the Yemenis that they had needlessly died. This is Trump's doing. Things of that nature. Coming up domestically with a national law, supporting a national law to ban BDS, boycott, disinvestment, sanctions, to criminalize the free speech of people who says, hey, boycott Israeli goods. Half the states have these stupid laws to begin with, but Trump wanted it to be a national law. And that's not, this is not America first when you do shit like this. That is just as hokey as Biden and Pelosi giving hundreds of billions of dollars to Volodymyr Zelensky and them shaking the Ukraine flag in the U.S. House of Representatives. So, as I said, he's no friend of the peace movement in that regard. And so, I needed to be pointed out. But also having to say that there are neocon Republicans on the other side, your Sean Hannity's out there, who feel like he's not. They like Trump, but they don't feel like he's aggressive enough in his foreign policy. And that's fucked up when that's the conclusion that they're drawing. And Noam Chomsky said that every president since 1945 needed to go to The Hague for crimes against humanity. And I largely agree with that sentiment right there. Yeah, I do. I'm going to play what's called one-liners, best one-liners rather from Trump in regard to the Republican debate in 2016 down in South Carolina. I don't have the video on me. I don't have the video on me, or anything in response, but I do remember Rush Limbaugh getting angry with Donald Trump over this, claiming he was trying to cater to Bernie Sanders supporters, which was silly. That was not the case. But anyway, I'll let you listen to this and all that. So give me a moment here.
The question is, how do we keep America safe from terrorism? Trump says we ought to close that internet thing. The question really is, what does he mean by that?
This is from 2016 in South Carolina, and closing down the internet. Our internet privacy disappeared under Trump, but MAGA wouldn't believe it if you tell them that.
They do in North Korea?
We should be able to penetrate the internet and find out exactly where ISIS is and everything about ISIS. And we can do that if we use our good people.
Do you see how low he parted his hair in that scene, that debate? Wolf Blitzer, the most boring man alive.
Called Mr. Trump unhinged when he proposed banning non-American Muslims from the United States. Why is that unhinged?
Well, first of all, we need to destroy ISIS in the caliphate. That should be our objective. Donald, is great at the one-liners, but he's a chaos candidate, and he'd be a chaos president.
Jeb doesn't really believe I'm unhinged. He said that very simply because he has failed in this campaign. It's been a total disaster. Nobody cares. And frankly, I'm the most solid person up here. I built a tremendous company, and all I want to do is make America great again.
Donald, you're not going to be able to insult your way to the presidency. That's not.
Actually, He did twice. He insulted his way into the presidency in 2016, and I'd be damned he didn't do it again in 2024. Actually, the second time around, even more of an asshole.
It's not going to happen. And I do have the strength.
I'm at 42 and you're at 3. So
Doesn't matter.
far I'm doing better.
Doesn't matter.
So far I'm doing better. You know, you started off over here, Jeb. You're moving over further and further. Pretty soon you're going to be off the end.
This
lose
doesn't
your
do.
temper.
Reminded of what FDR's grandfather said. He said, all horse thieves are Democrats, but not all Democrats are horse thieves.
If your eyes are glazed over like mine, this is what it's like to be on the floor of the United States Senate. I mean, endless debates about how many angels on the head of a pin from people who've never had to make a consequential decision in an executive position.
Well, first of all, let me just complain a little bit. This is the first time I've spoken, and several people have had multiple questions, so please try to pay attention to that.
He thinks he wants to be this, oh, I'm great and strong on national defense, but he's the weakest of all the candidates on immigration. Marco has more of an allegiance to Chuck Schumer and to the liberals than he does to conservative policy.
Senator Rubio.
I want to thank Rand for another 30 seconds because, number one, what he's pointing to is a bill last week, an amendment he voted for that only 10 people voted for. You know why? Because it's not focused on terrorists. It would have banned anyone from coming here. Someone from Taiwan would not have been able to come here.
What reckless is calling Assad a reformer. What's reckless is
replacing Assad with an Al-Qaeda person, which is what happened. But people like you, Chris Krispy Kreme, you're happy with that because you're a fucking neocon.
is allowing Russia to come into Crimea and Ukraine. What reckless is inviting Russia into Syria to team with Iran. That
Iran, Russia, and Syria are nowhere as bad as ISIS and Al-Qaeda. But considering where Al-Qaeda and ISIS, where their basis of support comes from and everything, point at Saudi Arabia, point at the U.S., point at the CIA. You know, I don't know how he can say this with a straight face.
That is reckless. And the reckless people are the folks in the White House right now. Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton are the reckless people.
Why are you better qualified to deal with Vladimir Putin than Mr. Trump?
Because first of all, I know what I don't know. I know what I don't know. I would seek out, as I have, the best advice that exists. I won't get my information from the shows. I don't know if that's Saturday morning or Sunday morning. I don't know which one.
Last month, you said you were open to naming Senator Cruz as your running mate.
I did.
So why would you be willing to put somebody who's a maniac one heartbeat away from the presidency?
But I've gotten to know him over the last 3 or 4 days. He has a wonderful temperament. He's just fine. Don't worry about it.
Okay. Senator Cruz. Senator Cruz, you have not been willing to attack Mr. Trump in public, but you did question his judgment.
Hey, YouTube fans, I'm Luke Russert. Thanks for checking out our MSNBC.
That was actually kind of entertaining in 2016 watching this shit. And if you ever watched the whole debate from 2016, it is golden where he's actually getting booed like hell in the video. And some of those cocksuckers are going "Moo!" in the audience. A lot of them will be MAGA sycophants by the end of his term. I bet you some of them were January 6th insurrectionist sympathizers. I wouldn't be surprised one damn bit. So what I want to do is I want to talk about, about this whole thing about what is MAGA in terms of, are they pro-war neocons from the Bush-Cheney era, or are they more like your Ron and Rand Pauls and who are unprincipled non-interventionists? That's the question right there. Here's a little snippet from a while back where where I think that we can find the answers to these questions, and from Ron Paul. And now I want to make the disclaimer that in critiquing Ron Paul here, I respect Ron Paul. I disagree with his economic libertarianism. Some social issues I disagree with him on, but I don't think he's a bad person. I think he's actually a decent individual. That I happen to think is wrong. I think that I just think I do believe in governmental intervention in the economy in a way that's going to be beneficial for the people. And he disagrees with that. So that, there is that. But when Ron Paul is correct on certain things, he's correct. And so here he's talking about foreign policy, pro-peace foreign policy here. All right. This is him in 2009. Very relevant to today, by the way.
The gentlewoman from Florida is recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'd like to yield 2 minutes to the gentleman from Texas, Dr. Paul.
The gentleman is recognized for 2 minutes.
Gentlelady for yielding, and I ask unanimous consent to revise and extend my remarks.
Without objection.
Madam Speaker, I rise in opposition to this resolution, not because I am taking sides and picking who the bad guys are and who the good guys are, but I'm looking at this more from the angle of being a United States citizen, an American. And I think resolutions like this really do us great harm. In many ways, what's happening in the Middle East, and in particular with Gaza right now, we have some moral responsibility for both sides in a way, because we provide help and funding for both Arab nations and Israel. And so we definitely have a moral responsibility, and especially now today, the weapons being used to kill so many Palestinians are American weapons, and American funds essentially are being used for this. But there's a political liability, which I think is something that we fail to look at, because too often there's so much blowback from our intervention in areas that we shouldn't be involved in. You know, Hamas, if you look at the history, you'll find out that Hamas was encouraged and really started by Israel, because they wanted Hamas to counteract Yasser Arafat. And you said, well, yeah, that was better then and served its purpose, but we didn't want Hamas to do this. So then we as Americans say, well, we have such a good system, we're going to impose this on the world. We're going to invade Iraq and teach people how to be Democrats. We want free elections. So we encourage the Palestinians to have a free election. They do, and they elect Hamas. So we first indirectly and directly through Israel help establish Hamas. Then we have election. Then Hamas becomes dominant, so we have to kill them. You know, it just doesn't make sense. During the 80s, you know, we were allied with Osama bin Laden. And we were contending with the Soviets. It was at that time our CIA thought it was good if we radicalized the Muslim world. So we financed the madrasa schools to radicalize the Muslims in order to compete with the Soviets. There's too much blowback. There's a lot of reasons why we should oppose this resolution. It is not in the interest of the United States. It's not in the interest of Israel either.
And you know, someone like that, you know, he's more brave. Ron Paul's more brave than a lot of even some of the progressive Democrats out there, like an AOC type. You know, I mean, you know, or even Bernie. I mean, he's more brave. And I don't like the Tea Party. I don't like the economic libertarianism. I don't like some of the social views of Ron Paul, because he says he's a libertarian, but on some social issues he's socially conservative. He's basically a paleo conservative, and I'm not beating up on people who are paleo conservatives, but they're overall better than neocons. Whatever variety and flavor of neocons, whether they're neocons like a Hillary Clinton or a neocon like George W. Bush, you know, I mean, Ron Paul is a principled man. And he was right in what he had to say. And I would say that maybe there are people like him in the MAGA coalition. And I'm wondering what their take will be when they realize that they get that wake up call and realize that Trump is selling them a bill of goods. Now, I want you to contrast that with this ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous statement here. And let you know, and unfortunately, Ron Paul doesn't have the influence in the Republican Party that people like this motherfucker has here. So I'll go ahead and play it.
American evangelical pastor John Hagee, who heads the largest pro-Israel lobby group in the United States, half-jokingly compared Benjamin Netanyahu to the Messiah on Sunday night, as he waited for the delayed prime minister to arrive at a Jerusalem hotel. As Hagee introduced Netanyahu when he finally arrived, the comparison with the Messiah no longer seemed so far-fetched. Netanyahu's speech was the high point of the Conference of Christians United for Israel, which recently reached 1 million members.
Wow,
the conference in Jerusalem drew hundreds of people, primarily Americans.
Of course, there'll be Americans in that conference because they don't know any better. But yeah, it's people like John Hagee that's the problem when it comes to foreign policy, especially under Republican presidents. Even if Trump don't want to be fully interventionist at all times, he has to listen to the John Hagees of the Republican Party, the theocrats in the Republican Party, or the neocons. I guess that's the best way to describe them, or the neocon theocons. He has to listen to those folks. He has to listen to the Mike Pompeos and the John Boltons in the party. And ultimately, even though the Dick Cheney and Liz Cheney voted for Kamala Harris, there's a lot of people who are just like Dick and Liz Cheney in the Republican Party that remain loyal and voted for Dick and Liz Cheney, voted for Kamala Harris voted for Donald Trump. I'm sorry. They voted for Donald Trump because they're loyal Republicans. So, and they just would never vote for a Democrat. So I just want you to realize that for those who try to give Trump too much of a free pass on him being the supposed peacenik, just think about it. And is he more of a peacenik than, let's say, Dick Cheney? Yeah, in spite of the crass ways that he'll put phrase things. But having that said, having that said, I just think that they're selling us all a bill of goods when they say that MAGA is all anti-war and they're all pro-war Democrats. No, we agree. Democrats are pro-war. I don't vote for Democrats. I don't vote for Democrats because they're pro-war. I sure as hell not going to go and vote for a political party that did what they did to Iraq in 2003. A political party that got an orgasm off of torturing people down in Guantanamo Bay. That sort of thing. The political party that thought that the Patriot Act in 2001 was base and wonderful, and surveillancing the entire population was base and wonderful. But when Obama was doing it, then all of a sudden it's bad. It was bad and shitty when George W. Bush was doing it. It was bad and shitty when Barack Obama was doing it. It was bad and shitty when Donald Trump continued doing it. It was bad and shitty when Joe Biden was doing it. And it's going to remain bad and shitty when it's being done again, part 2 by Donald Trump. I mean, I hate all presidents. I hate every president in my lifetime, just about. I hate every motherfucker that has set foot into that Oval Office. None of them are worthy of respect. None of them are worthy of respect. I mean, I'm jealous down in Mexico, Claudia Sheinbaum. I mean, why can't we have a Claudia Sheinbaum? Someone like that. But no, we have to have our Donald Trump or this brain dead Joe Biden, who was just a corpse sitting in the Oval Office for the past 4 years. I mean, that's the best we can do, the United States. Yes, it is. I'm afraid that is the best we can do, which is sometimes I just don't have any hope for this country. So the only thing I can do is just try to laugh at these motherfuckers because they deserve to be laughed at. And, so anyway, as I said, I just wanted to get that out of my chest. And, I will, let's see, tomorrow I'll be out of town. Tonight, going to a concert. Tomorrow I'll be out of town, but I'll be live streaming on Friday and Saturday and Sunday and Monday. So you'll probably, I bet you'll be seeing a little more of me than usual while I'm on vacation, but strangely enough. So don't you worry, or maybe you worry, maybe to your detriment. Choose which one. So Bella Greasy asked me, who am I going to see? I'm going to see Mocha Doma. They're a Belarus post-punk band. I'm going to see them tonight at the Ritz in Raleigh. So I haven't been to a concert in a couple of years, so that's what I'm going to see. So I'm looking forward to that. So let's see. He says here, 2007, Tea Party was co-opted by Alex Jones and Ron Paul, and then ultimately, irony, it was hijacked by the very neocons that did 9/11. Yeah. Pretty much, the neocons took it over. And people who people think who are not neocons, who are neocons, are the ones that took it over. Your Sarah Palins, your Michelle Bachmans, as far as media is concerned, your Mark Levin's, your Rush Limbaugh's, your Glenn Beck's, your all those people, those horrendous people, Michael Savage, and again. I have my views on Alex Jones and people like that, but I don't, he's not as well. He wasn't as horrific. I don't know what to say about Alex Jones these days, but anyhow, he's entertaining. I'll say that much. Don't agree with what he has to say a lot, but he's entertaining. So, let's see. Blue Moon Red Wine says, MAGA is cooked. They're getting so annoying, and it's been less than a month. And not only are they getting annoying, they're showing their true love for authoritarianism. They can't wait to be to have an authoritarian president. They want to see Donald Trump be a Protestant Franco or a Protestant Pinochet. That's really what they're hoping for. And I hate both parties. I hate the neoliberalism that the Democrats offer. I hate the fact that they're basically George Herbert Walker Bush in the year 1989. I hate that about the Democrats. But I also hate the fact that the Republicans are flirting with fascism. And that Donald Trump would love to wear a uniform like Augusto Pinochet of Chile. He would love to be the leader like Franco of Spain or something like that. He has that impulse in him. So there is that. Yeah, and thank you, Bill Lagrisi. So and so let me say goodbye to everyone here. I will be back more than likely on Friday. You'll see the announcement and all that. So, Bella Lagrisi, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Blue Moon Red Wine, Lucy. You're going to have to come back on the show. So feel free to come on back whenever you're ready. So, Miguel, always great seeing you here, my friend. We have here, who else was here? P Stub. Yep, P Stub was here. Yep, so there. Oh, I get it. How dare they put P Stub next to Trump on my thumbnail? Well, it was really representing Ron Paul more than it was Trump. Because if you look on the other side of the thumbnail, it's a mushroom cloud associated with Benjamin Netanyahu. Okay. Max Sergey, great seeing you here as usual. Same here with Desert Mantis. And do we have anybody else here that was here earlier? Cisco was here. You may still be here. Great seeing you always. So, and anybody else? I guess that's it right now. So, I will say this much. If you like what you heard, please press like and comment. Comment anyway. You should disagree with what I have to say. Feel free to share the contents on this channel. As a First Amendment absolutist, it's my duty to inform you to create your own platform and utilize it, because we are the muckrakers of our time. So muckrake away. Help this channel, subscribe to the Willie Bragg Show. Follow me on Facebook. Follow me on Twitter. Follow me on Blue Sky and all my other platforms. And until next time, I would say free and fully pardon as Edward Snowden. I will also say here, Oral, how are you doing today? I would also say free Palestine, free healthcare for all, and for our own self-preservation as the left. Free speech absolutism must be preserved. And until next time, fuck Benjamin Netanyahu. Y'all take care. I will see y'all later. See y'all Friday. Bye-bye.